صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we ask Allah for His greatest peace and blessings upon Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Muslim Youth Connections, I would like to welcome you again to our MYC 2019 Shah Ramadan program. And inshallah, we will begin with the holy recitation of the Holy Quran by our dear brother Mushtaba al-Khalidi. فَلْيَتَفَضَّلْ مَسْحُوبًا بِالصَّلَاةِ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ.
أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء نحوا سنقرئك فلا تنسى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها صدق الله العلي العظيم. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
Thank you, Brother Mushtaba, for that very heart-soothing recitation. Please give him another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Before we continue tonight's program, I have a few announcements to make. We are holding a bonfire with our dear Sheikh Aous Friday after the program. Inshallah, we hope to see you all there. Thursday, June 27th to June 30th, we are planning a retreat to the Lake Huron Retreat Center. All ages between 18 and 30 are welcome to attend. The trip is $250 and includes cost of lodging, transportation, and food. We will be joined by religious scholars, Sayyid Hassan Qazwini, Sayyid Salih Qazwini, Sheikh Muhammad Al-Sadi, along with Haji Najah Bazi. Please visit muslimretreats.org to register or see our MYC table for more information. We are still looking for a sponsor for tonight's program. Through the sponsorship, you can help fund the Muslim Youth Connection year-round. We need your support so we can have other great programs like our weekly Friday night lectures, Ashura and Osar Fatimiyya programs. Please see the MYC table for more information about sponsoring tonight's event. We are also partnering with our local high school, Dearborn High, and doing an Eid toy drive. We will be collecting donations May 6th through May 31 and donating them to unprivileged kids so they are able to truly celebrate the definition of Eid. Toys can be new or used in good condition, and the donation boxes are located in the lobby. Last one, we are also partnering with Zaman International for a food drive over the month of Ramadan. The boxes can be found in the main lobby as well. With that, I would like to welcome our dear Sheikh Aous. فليتفضل مسحوبا بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
Bismillah, they're all very tall. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. A second time for the love of Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein. A third time for the love of Lady Fatima with the loudest of voices. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran in the chapter of Nazi'at, verse 40, He says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and as for he who prevents himself from following his whim, his desires, the bad desires, not the good desires, the bad desires, whim, then he will be rewarded with paradise as an eternal abode. صدق الله العلي العظيم آمنا بالله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So in these past nights, we've covered a couple of topics. We're in the third night tonight. And in the first night, if you recall, we covered goal setting, right? And in the second night, we covered, anybody remember? Self-awareness. Very good. We have some people who are listening, alhamdulillah. So in the first night, we established a reference point, if you recall. We said that first and foremost, when we start talking about anything that has to do with life, that we have to establish a reference point, just like in any other science, right? We always have to start from a foundation. And we said that our foundation is based upon Tawheed. And that Tawheed is basically, it starts with looking within ourselves and asking ourselves, who created this world? Was it me? Well, I know that it couldn't have been me because I don't know enough, right? I need help from others. That in itself is a limitation. I know for a fact that I have a beginning and I will have an end, and that's a limitation. And I know for a fact that it can't be any other human that created this world, right? Why? Because all of humanity is just as limited as I am. Even if they have a Nobel Prize, right? Even if they are Einstein, at the end of the road, he died, right? Correct? Even if they are Gandhi, Gandhi died too, right? So all of humanity is limited. And we know that if we look outside of humanity, if we look at the earth itself and we look at land masses, we find that they are limited by bodies of water. And we said that the earth itself is limited by its atmosphere. And we said that planets are limited by their orbits, and the universe is also limited because we said that there are two theories, one of the expanding universe and one of the contracting universe. And that means that the universe must have a limit in order for it to contract and expand. And so we said, you know what, let's look at creators. And we said, let's look at an engineer. He's not limited by his creations. He can create one or two or more engines. And the same thing with a painter, and the same thing with a baker or a cook, right? Now that we broke our fast, it's not such a big deal when we talk about food. And we said, well, the universal concept that I can get from this idea is the fact that a creator is not limited by his creations. So I said, well, let me take that. Let me apply it to the world of limitation. All things limited. The creator, beyond whom there is no other creator. If all things limited, then, based on that idea of the fact that a creator is not limited by his creations, must be limited or unlimited? Unlimited, exactly. Because he's not limited by the world of limitation that he created. And if he's unlimited, then that means that he is all perfect, right? You'll find I'll repeat this quite often until by the end of all these nights, you'll be able to tell me this proof better than me. Right? Because our life, today, our topic is breaking the code to life. Right? Only after 3 lectures. Right? The idea is that once I prove that there is an unlimited creator, now the possibilities are endless for me to decrypt this world, to decrypt this universe, to understand what it was created for, why I was created. Because the creator is unlimited, which means that he's all perfect, which means that he's all purposeful. Because if he does anything without purpose, that means he's not perfect. And so it can't be the creator. It has to be that everything that he does is with a purpose. And that means I have a purpose to my life. Not only that, if he's all perfect, like we did prove, that means that when he chose for me to exist, that means that I am worthy of existing. Why? Because he chose for me to exist, and he's all perfect. So my worth comes from him, not from my clique in the cafeteria, not from my friends in high school, not from my friends in university, not from the basketball team or the baseball team or the soccer team or the football team. My worth comes from he and he alone, no one else. Right? I don't need to be accepted by anybody else. First and foremost, I need to be accepted by him. And how do I show that acceptance? I show it through gratitude. Why? Because just as we said, our parents brought us to this world and we feel an obligation towards them because of their right upon us, because they guided us and raised us and brought us to this world, sheltered us, fed us, right? That the creator of all things gave us our parents, and therefore he is even more worthy by priority of what? Of our obedience and our gratitude. And so our gratitude is manifested through what? Through our actions. And our actions are actions that are all about obedience to him. Because that is what would make him pleased. How do we know this? Because our parents, when we're obedient to them, Ali, they're happy with us, right? Yeah. So then my goal is to please my creator first and foremost. That is my greatest goal. So in the goal-setting lecture, that's what we proved, right? What my greatest goal is in life. To please my creator. To be thankful to him. How? We said that there are 2 ways. First, we said by looking at his ethics. See how he treats us. And therefore, we have to make sure we treat him the same way and that we treat each other the same way. Why? Because if he created you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and me, that means we're all worthy of existing. Equally worthy. Which means that just as he deems you worthy of time, I deem you worthy of my time. Right? Just as he deems you worthy of sustenance, then I will share my bread with you also. Right? Just as he deems you worthy of an intellect and a mind with which to think, then I too will share my thoughts with you and respect your thoughts, whether I agree with them or not. Look at what that creates. That creates a person who is tolerant of all people. And we didn't use any divine books or anything else like that. We used the intellect that was given to us by the All-Perfect himself. Right, Muhammad? From here, we moved on to this idea of self-awareness and how it is that there's a necessity for self-awareness. Because it is with this self-awareness that I can realize that I need to treat people as ethically as Allah treats them. Allah being the unlimited creator, right? Not only that I have to ask Him what He wants from me, and that I need to follow whatever message He sends to me. Because it wouldn't make sense that He would bring me to this world without telling me what He wants of me, right? I mean, think about when you're in school, and what happens? The teacher says, oh, today you've got a pop quiz. We're like, oh, I didn't know. This is so, what do we say? This is so unfair, right? But God wouldn't do that to you. The Creator wouldn't do that to you. So He sends you a message. And in the past series, last year, we covered how it is that we proved that the Quran is the book of God. Because we said that it's a consistent message, hasn't been changed over the course of time. It doesn't have any contradictions in it whatsoever. We looked into the science that's inside the Quran, and we found that there's nobody that could have known this information 1400 years ago when it was revealed, right? Things are being discovered today in the Holy Quran that were predicted 1400 years ago through the revelation, through the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad, right? So that in itself proved that that is the true message. And since it exists in its original form, then that's unchanged from 1400 years ago, 800, 400, 200, 100, till this day, exactly the same. Then that's proof upon me. Especially since the other religions that claim that they have the message of God, which they did, right? But what did we say? We said that it has contradictions in it because there have been some changes. And we also know that a lot of those messages have been changed. The Bible alone in its Old and New Testament, the scientists themselves, those who are scholars in the Bible and in the Torah will tell you they don't know who all the authors are. Most of the authors they don't know. And we mentioned this in the last series. Those who are interested, go back to that series. What I want you to think about now is after we talked about the issue of self-awareness and we came to the realization, logically speaking, that it is necessary. According to the halls of academia, self-awareness does exist and that we do have free choice, free will, right? Not Free Will the movie. That was a good movie nonetheless, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about freedom to choose, right? That modern psychology, right, has proven that this old school thinking of determinism, we said genetic determinism, remember? We said psychic determinism, and we said environmental determinism, right? That's old school. That's no longer true. There's no such thing as you're predisposed to be this way, right? Whether it's genetically through an inheritance, that's how you were born, that's how you are, you'll never change. We said that's not fair. Remember? We said it can't be logical that the Creator, the all-perfect, would bring me to this world in a specific way and say, you are born bad, and then at the end say, well, I'm going to punish you or reward you. That would be unfair. And we said, and we proved that the Almighty is unlimited, which means He's all-perfect, which means that there's no way that He would do that, because that would be unfair. Not only that, that means that He's going to give me the freedom of choice to choose Him. That's how fair He is. Because if He doesn't give me the freedom to choose Him, then that would be unfair. Right? It's so simple. It would be unfair for Him to bring me to this world without giving me the freedom to choose Him. It's that simple. So, whether I choose or not, He gives me that freedom. It's up to you, He says. Logically speaking, I've come up with this. I haven't even looked at the Holy Quran. The Quran says, إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا, we said, right? Surely we guided him to the straight path, we showed him the way, but it's up to him. He's either thankful and he follows, or he's unthankful and disbelieving and he chooses not to follow. Up to him. Free will. Again, not the killer whale. Right? It's just a logical necessity, you see, sister? Very simple. So, all of this is so important to us when it comes to the issue of self-awareness. Why? Because self-awareness has helped me determine for myself that there is no such thing as predetermination. Self-awareness in itself has made me realize that I need to be proactive in assessing where I am right now. And by assessing where I am right now, I can then be proactive, right? have the initiative. And we said proactive means what? Who remembers? What does it mean to be proactive? Brother Sadiq. Who remembers? Being proactive, does it mean to have initiative or does it mean to be a problem solver? Problem solver. We said to be proactive means to do what with your language? What happens to your internal language? Your self-talk. What do you say? Do you say, I can't? You say, I will, or I'll try. Do you say it's impossible? What do you say? It's possible. Do you say there's no way? There is a way. Exactly. Now what does Islam tell me? And this is what's interesting. Because you see, this whole topic of proactivity, when it comes to social psychology, is so clear today, right? But it's gone through a process of evolution. Now 1400 years ago, the Quran says, كُلٌّ يَعْمَلُ عَلَى شَاكِلَتِهِ. What does that mean? It means everyone does deeds, does their actions, does what they want in accordance with their intention. Right? Why is intention important here in the Holy Quran? Intention is important. Why? Because it's part of that initiative that we were talking about. If I want to take the initiative to go towards Ali and shake his hand, right? I am doing what? I am placing an intention within myself that's going to be the initiator of my action. So Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, what does he say? He says, لا عمل إلا بنية. He says that there is no action without intention. So intention comes before action. So how important is intention then? Especially when I want to be proactive and take initiative. Got it? So I have to then look at myself and look at my surroundings and my problems, right? And figure out what my intention has to be when it comes to this problem, to this challenge. You got it? Just to break it down and be practical. So now let me take that intention and I say, okay, how am I going to have the best of intentions? That's really what I want. Because remember we said that according to social psychology, problems are of three types. Remember? There are problems that you can control directly. There are problems that you can control indirectly. Right, Brother Muhammad Rala? And there are problems that you can't control. They're out of your hands. Now for the problems that you can't control, the ones that are out of your hands, how do you deal with them? If you're a problem solver and you're proactive, you realize that if they're out of your control, they're either things that happened in the past, or things that will happen in the future, or something that is happening right now that you can't change. In all cases, you have to look towards something called submission. What do you mean submission? What does that mean? It means that I realize that since it's gone and past, I can't change it. I submit to that. And since it's in the future and it hasn't come yet, I submit to the fact that I can't do anything about it. I don't live in the realm of the past, and I don't live in the realm of a future that hasn't come yet. Instead, what do? I look at the now. Now, in the now. What if I have a problem now that is out of my control? Then, you still have to submit. To what? To He who gave you the challenge. Think about that. You got that, Sadiq? To He who gave you the challenge. Why? Because if it's out of your control, that means it's in His control. If it's an illness like cancer, whose control is it under? Just the chemo? You know, about, I think, 5 years ago, for more than 5 now, it's about probably 7 years ago. 7 years ago, my uncle was diagnosed with cancer, 4th stage colon cancer. What can you do? The doctors told him, you've got 2 months. You know how long he lived? 4 years. Whose hands was it in? The chemo? The doctors? No. It was in the hands of the unlimited who brought him to this world. You see? It's all about then not living in those things you can't control. It's about your intention being submitting to He who gave you these challenges that you can't control. making a simple supplication dua, asking Him to say, just help me through this struggle, because I know that you're fair. And if you're fair, that means that you won't give me anything that I cannot handle. It's that simple. It's a logical necessity. And if you read the Holy Quran, what does it say? It says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُكَلِّفُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. That Allah does not burden a soul with more than it can handle. It's so logical. Wow. Just warms your heart. Why? Because now your heart and your intellect are at one. They're at one. Because what are we realizing? We're realizing that I can come to these realities. All I need is to figure out where these realities lie. Then I know where the right path is. You see? Now what's next? Now that I know how to deal with those things I can't control, right? My proactivity here is what? Is submission. Got it? What's my proactivity in things I can't control? Submission. So what do I do in submission? Who do I look towards? Allah Almighty. The all-powerful, the all-giving, the all-perfect, right? The all-purposeful. He deemed me worthy of this struggle. Actually, let's take a look at this struggle. If He gives me a struggle and He's all perfect, does that mean it's the perfect struggle for me? Right? That's deep, huh? It's a perfect struggle for me. And no two struggles are the same, by the way. They may be similar, but they're not the same. Why? Because you are unique. God created you that way. Sure, we all look alike because we're from the same dai'ah. No, just kidding. Meaning from the same village. No. That's just an Arab joke, sorry. Had to make you laugh. You guys were getting too serious on me. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'm turning you into deep thinkers. No, you guys are already deep thinkers. So, now that I know how to deal with the problems I can't control, now let me take a look at the problems I can control. Because I figured out what my intention has to be there. My intention in the things that I can't control is directly connected to He whom I submit to, right? And then therefore He will give me unlimited patience to deal with that struggle, because I'm looking at struggle. Now when I look at the things that I can control directly, how do I deal with those? What intention must I have? Now quite simply, of course, if it's with the things that are out of my control, I submit to Him and I say they're all in His hands, right? In the things that I can control directly, by priority, what am I going to do? I'm going to submit to Him too. But I'm going to do my due diligence also. Because it means that this struggle that He's given me, that is under my direct control, requires a different type of proactivity. It requires me not to be reactive. Because once I'm reactive, what realm am I living in? I'm living in the realm of, this is out of my control, when it really is in your control. What you do, or what we do, is we look at the negative things, right? We say, oh, there's so many reasons why this can't happen. I'll never get into med school. It's too hard. The MCATs are like 8 hours, 9 hours. I got to study, right? I don't even like studying, right? I will have finished like a 4-year degree and I've got to study for an MCAT another 4 years. How am I going to get through this? Right? But see, this type of struggle is in your hands, right? You can control it. All it's about is self-discipline. That's all. To some people, that's like blasphemy. Self-discipline? What are you talking about? Live and let live, man. Right? Yeah, but at the end of the road, if this is what I want to do, then I have to realize that it's under my direct control. If it's under my direct control, then what do I have to do? I have to now configure my intention. What do I do? My intention becomes what? To please Him alone. Right? How am I going to take that intention and let it be infused in everything that I do, so that every action that I do and every motion and every look that I make is connected with the solution to my problem. It's very simple. It's very simple. Prophet Muhammad gave us the solution in that speech that we spoke about the other day, that I gave you the other day on the first day, right? The first thing that he said, the first thing that he requires us to do, he said, فَاسْأَلُوا رَبَّكُمْ. He said, therefore, ask your Lord. Okay? And he says right after it the solution. He says, bi niyatin sadiqah, with true, sincere intention. وَقُلُوبٍ طَاهِرَةٍ, and purified hearts. So then what do I need to do in order to complete any task? Remember, how many tasks did he give us? Does anybody remember? If you guys remember how many tasks, I'm going to give you a prize. Not today, maybe tomorrow, because I didn't come ready. Right? Who remembers how many tasks there were that the Prophet gave us in the month of Ramadan? You can shout out a number, it's okay. 5, 4, 7? That's not my... 9? No. No. Look, it's either going to be 12 or 14, okay? Right? And they're literally 12 or 14, depending on how you look at them. So I'll list them for you, right? So, success in fasting the month and recitation of the Holy Quran. That's 2. Those are the main 2. And then we said that success in fasting the month is based on the tasks that he gives us. So we understand how is it that we should fast. Other than the actual rules of what we should refrain from in the month of Ramadan, the Islamic laws, right? He's telling us what actions. He gave us a task list of 12 things. 12 things, right? So if you add those 12 to the 2, how much is that? 14. How many infallibles are there? 14. Isn't that amazing? Right. So what did he say? First he said, remember with your thirst and hunger on the day of judgment. Number 2, he said, give charity. Number 3, he said, show respect to your elders. Number 4, he said, have mercy on your youth. Number 5, he said, connect with family. Number 6, he said, guard your tongues. Number 7, he said, cast your gaze. Number 8, he said, do not listen to haram things. Number 9, he said, care for the orphans so that your orphans may be taken care of in the future. Number 10, he said, repent from your sins. Number 11, he said, do dua, meaning supplication, during the times of prayer. And number 12, he said, recite the Holy Quran. So these are the tasks, right? But he says, in order for you, because remember what we said, what did the Imam say? He said, لا عمل إلا بنية, that there is no action, meaning your action will not be accepted truly unless you have the right intention. And that intention has to be a sincere intention. Isn't that what the Prophet himself ﷺ told us, Brother Hassan? Right? That's what he said. He said, so you have to have niyat sadiqah, true intentions. How can I get a true, sincere intention? I look towards what Imam As-Sajjad Salamullah alayhi says. He says, Allahumma balligh bi imani akmal al-iman, waj'al yaqini afdal al-yaqin, wantahi bi niyyati ila ahsan niyat, wa bi amali ila ahsan al-a'mal. Allahumma waffir bi lutfika niyyati. Allahumma waffir bi lutfika niyyati. That's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to translate now. I know you were thinking, is he going to translate this? Allahumma balligh bi imani akmal iman means I'm asking the Almighty, the Unlimited, the All-Perfect Creator, I'm saying to Him, oh God, I want you to allow my faith to reach the highest level of faith. Now I can ask anyone who is limited to help me increase my faith, right? But at the end of the road, they're limited. So however much they give me in aid or support, I can only reach a certain place, a certain limit. But if I ask the unlimited, then my potential is unlimited, right? So I ask for the unlimited for my faith. He is the most able to give me that level of faith. The next thing that I ask for is what? Is after I say, Allahumma balligh bi imani akmal iman, I say, waj'al yaqini afdal al-yaqin, and make my certitude the best of certitude. Why is certitude, certainty in what I do or what I believe important? And Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, he says it beautifully. He says, that al-yaqinu imadul iman. He says that yaqeen is the very pillar, the very foundation of faith. Which means knowledge gaining, what we're doing here, is the pillar to your faith in your Creator. That's the pillar. It's not blindly believing, not blindly. Islam doesn't want this of us. The Creator doesn't want this of us. Listen, the Creator didn't give us an intellect so that we just put it on the shelf. Okay? He gave us an intellect so that we use it. Because if our intellect was supposed to be just set aside, then that would mean it was without purpose. And God doesn't create without purpose. Otherwise, He would be, what? Purposeless, not purposeful. And we know that's not the case because we proved it. So the next thing that he says, he tells me, and of course this is the dua of, who knows this dua? Where does it come from? The supplication comes from Sahifa Sajjadiyya, and it's called Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. The dua of the best of ethics. The best of akhlaq. Remember, what did we say first and foremost? We have to have the ethics of whom? Our goal is to have the ethics of the Creator Himself, right? So this dua actually teaches us that. So what does he say? He says, after he says, Allahumma balligh bi imani akmal iman, waj'al yaqini afdal al-yaqeen, he says, وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي إِلَى أَحْسَنِ نِيَّاتِ وَبِعَمَلِي إِلَى أَحْسَنِ الْأَعْمَالِ. And let my intention end up being at the best level of intentions, and let my amal, my actions, the deed that follow my niyyah, move with it in parallel. Not drop off, move with it in parallel. So that they both end up, my intention and my action, in the same spot, at the same level. This is essential. Why is it essential to me? Because I need my intention to be perfect for my proactivity to be perfect, for my problem solving to be perfect, so that when I deal with things that are under my control directly, I can deal with them perfectly. And if I deal with things that are indirectly under my control, then I can deal with them perfectly, right? Then what does he say after that? Allahumma waffir bilutfika niyyati. Oh God, provide me by your benevolence my intention. So instead of wondering, where do I get the right intention from? I have the answer. The formula is right there. Where should I get it from? Whom? The Unlimited Himself. Why? Because He's the most able to give me. He has given me everything, right? That I have today. He's given me all these beautiful faculties. He's given me all these beautiful people around me, this beautiful community, right? He's given me the ability to learn and to speak and to talk and to listen, right? And to see. And that brings me to, once I have asked for the intention from Him, will He give it to me? He says in the Holy Quran, "Id'uni astajib lakum." Ask me and I shall answer. I will give you. Logically speaking, it doesn't make sense that God, the Unlimited, if I ask Him for something, He wouldn't give it to me. Why? Because He's all generous. And if He's all generous, if you come to a generous person and ask Him for something, will He give it to you? What about if He's all generous? Then He'll definitely give it to you, right? By priority. Simple. And that's why He says, "Id'uni astajib lakum." It's a logical necessity. Ask me and I shall give. I shall respond. I shall give you what you want. As long as it's good for you. So if you're asking for that Xbox and Allah knows it's going to distract you from school and distract you from prayer, then guess what? You're not going to get the Xbox and you're not going to get the PlayStation even if you change your dua to a PlayStation. Okay? So now what's important for me to understand then is this intention, right? My intention now, when it comes to dealing with my own problems directly, is to take the tools and faculties that He has provided me and employ them in a manner that pleases Him. Now, if you remember, I mentioned God's greatest right upon us, right? And we said that is to do what? Who remembers? God's greatest right upon me is what? To please Him, right? And how do I please Him? By acts that show gratitude to Him, right? And the best acts of showing gratitude to Him are to myself and how I deal with myself, my own dignity and self-respect and integrity, right? And how I deal with others. Correct? Things I can control, directly, things that I can control indirectly with others. The rule of reciprocity, remember? I had a hard time pronouncing that one yesterday, right? I'm not going to say it again. And I'm certainly not going to repeat it 6 times. Okay? And the rule of interdependence. I should have stuck to that one. Okay? So now, how do I use these tools and these faculties? Now, what's interesting is this. Is that in order for me to be able to understand that God's greatest right upon me is to worship Him and to thank Him. So Imam al-Sajjad, says this beautifully. He says, وَأَمَّا حَقُّ اللَّهِ الْأَكْبَرِ عَلَيْكَ. As for God's greatest right upon you, فَأَن تَعْبُدَهُ لَا تُشْرِكْ بِهِ شَيْئًا. Just to worship Him, don't ascribe a partner to Him. We said worship is gratitude, right? Show Him gratitude, please Him, be obedient to Him, right? فَإِذَا فَعَلْتَ ذَلِكَ بِإِخْلَاص. If you do so with sincerity. There it is. It's right there. It's right in there. Right? Have a sincere intention towards He alone and no other. Right? فإذا فعلت ذلك بإخلاص جعل الله لك على نفسه أن يكفيك أمر الدنيا والآخرة وأن يحفظ لك ما تحب منها. If you do this with sincerity, look at how far sincerity will take you. The unlimited, all-perfect Creator guarantees that He will give you sufficiency in this world and in the hereafter. And He will preserve for you what you love from this world. Now that I understand this, I say, okay, what I want is sincerity. How do I have sincerity in my actions? And what actions do I need to do? And what about the tools that I'm going to use for these actions? Actions are done with what types of tools? What are the actions that I do? I do them with my hands. I do them with my face. I do them with my eyes. I do them with my ears. Hearing is an action. Seeing is an action. Right? Talking is an action. Reaching is an action. Right? Eating, filling my belly, is an action. Right? Walking towards something is an action. Right? So it means then that all of these faculties that He's given me, including my intellect, I have to employ, I have to use to do what? To thank Him in gratitude. That means that my worship has to be through these means. Using these things for good, not for bad. That's a logical necessity, right? Because He gave me these faculties. Which means that He didn't give them to me to use them for bad. He gave them to me to use them for good. Right, Brother Yunus? Just a logical necessity, right? So what does Imam Sajjad say in the second right, in his treatise of rights? He says, وَأَمَّا حَقُّ نَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ فَأَن تَسْتَوْفِيهَا فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ فتؤدي إلى لسانك حقه وإلى سمعك حقه وإلى بصرك حقه وإلى يدك حقها وإلى رجلك حقها وإلى بطنك حقه وإلى فرجك حقه وأن تستعين بالله على ذلك. Now I will translate. I was pausing for effect. What does he say? He says, ask for the right of yourself upon you. Because we said what? Things I can control myself, right? Problems that I can't control myself. How do I do so? He says, look, the right of yourself upon you is that you dedicate it towards the worship of Allah. You commit it towards gratitude to your Creator. That's mind-blowing. Because we just came up with this, right? Intellectually, we came to this conclusion. And he's saying everything that we were thinking. It's amazing. What does he say? He says, you give your tongue its right. When you speak, you only say good things. What was the rule of proactivity? What do you do with your language? You change your language, right? To the positive, not to the negative. To a proactive language, not to a reactive language, right? That talk in your tongue is also the talk of the heart. How you talk to yourself, how you address yourself, how you see yourself is expressed through your tongue. Even your metaphysical tongue. How you talk to yourself internally, right? To give your tongue its right. To give your hearing its right. Only hear good things. If people are saying negative things to you, then move out of the realm of negativity. Surround yourself with positive people, right? And what about my eyesight, my vision? Dedicate my vision towards worship of Allah, towards thanking Him and pleasing Him. I only look at good things. I cast my gaze. That was one of the tasks, right? Cast your gaze. Cast your hearing. Isn't that what He said? From listening to bad things, that was the second task, right? Cast your tongue from saying the wrong things. From lying, backbiting. Right? From listening to lying and backbiting. How am I going to do all this? Your hands, make sure they don't reach towards your sibling's head to smack them. That's a no-no. Don't do that. That's bad. Instead, turn that negativity into a beautiful act of patting on the head. It's a good little brother. Right? But Sheikh, that's tough. How do I do that? You're asking too much. I'm already tired. Right? No, your legs too. You have to dedicate them towards walking in directions that please your Creator. Right? It's a logical necessity. Same thing with your belly. Only things that please God should go in here. Right? Same thing with your privates. And then he says, وَإِن تَسْتَعِينَ بِاللَّهِ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. He says, and that you seek help from God in doing so. Because you're going to need all the help you can get. Because the tests are tough in this world. Right? If you see a pretty sister, what do you say? You say, MashaAllah. Right? No, you cast your gaze, you say, Alhamdulillah, inshallah, one day. Right? Inshallah. We'll work hard, Ya Allah, please. Right? But you cast your gaze. That's tough. Because your intention has to be sincere. It has to be dedicated to Allah first and foremost. How do I do that? Oh, we're out of time. What do you know? You're going to have to come back tomorrow and continue this conversation. I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to come back tomorrow so that we can continue this conversation. I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to have sincere intentions. That He gives us the ability to look beyond the reality and to see that this reality truly is all just a test. It's all just a challenge, and that we can handle it. Because He will not give us anything that we cannot handle. It's just a logical necessity. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. The last of our prayers is that all thanks and gratitude is to He alone, the unlimited Creator. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Thank you, Sheikhna, for that very enlightening lecture. Just please give another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Just two quick reminders before we end. One, if you'd like to sponsor or volunteer, please see the NYC table in the hallway. And the second one is that we'll be here tomorrow at 11 p.m. sharp. Right, Sheikhna? Right? You're good. No, you're good. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.